A day in the park with Joe and Neo. Joe woke up to the sound of his alarm blaring. He groaned and rolled over, hitting the snooze button to get a few more minutes of sleep, but it was no use. He was already awake. Joe dragged himself out of bed and got ready for the day. After a quick shower and throwing on some clothes, he headed downstairs to the kitchen.
"Good morning, Joe,"
said his roommate Neo as Joe walked into the kitchen. Neo was already up, sipping a cup of coffee and scrolling through his phone.
"Morning,"
Joe mumbled, still not fully awake. He poured himself a bowl of cereal and sat down at the table across from Neo.
"Any plans for today?"
he asked through a mouthful of cereal. Neo set down his phone and took a sip of coffee.
"Not much. Just going to hang around the house, I think. Maybe do some cleaning, do some laundry. Super exciting stuff."
He laughed.
"What about you?"
Joe shrugged.
"I was thinking of going to the park later. Maybe do some reading or people watching. Other than that, not sure yet."
He finished his cereal and rinsed his bowl in the sink.
"Well, I'm going to go get some work done. Let me know if you want to join at the park later."
A few hours passed as Joe worked on some assignments in his room. Around noon, he decided to take a break and check in with Neo about the park. He found Neo vacuuming the living room.
"Hey, you still up for the park?"
Joe asked. Neo turned off the vacuum.
"Yes, sounds good. Just let me finish up in here real quick."
He resumed vacuuming as Joe went to grab his book and a jacket. A few minutes later, Neo joined him by the front door.
"All right, I'm ready. Let's go."
The park was only a short walk from their apartment. It was a nice sunny day, not too hot or cold, perfect for relaxing outside. When they arrived, Joe found a shady spot under a large tree and sat down. Opening his book, Neo wandered around for a bit, taking in the scenery. There were families with small children playing, joggers making their laps around the path, and others like Joe enjoying some quiet time. After about 30 minutes, Neo came and sat down next to Joe.
"What you're reading?"
he asked, peering at the book in Joe's hands. Joe held it up so Neo could see the cover.
"It's called The Secret Garden. I've been meaning to read it for a while. Thought I'd take the opportunity today."
He marked his page and set the book down.
"Find anything interesting on your walk?"
Neo leaned back against the tree trunk.
"Not really. Just people watching like you said. It's nice to get outside though. Been cooped up inside all morning."
He gazed around at their surroundings.
"Always forget how peaceful it is here until we actually come."
Joe nodded in agreement.
"It's the perfect escape from the noise and chaos of the city. Out here it's so quiet and calm. Really helps clear my head."
He picked at some grass by his feet.
"Sometimes I think I'd like to live somewhere more rural one day. Get away from it all, you know?"
"I could see the appeal,
Neo replied.
but I don't know. I think I'd get bored. I like having things to do and places to go within walking distance. As much as I enjoy nature, I'm still a city boy at heart, I think."
"That's fair."
Joe laughed.
"I don't know if I could actually do the whole rural living thing full-time either if I'm being honest. But a change of scenery every now and then is nice."
He leaned his head back and closed his eyes, soaking up the sun's warmth on his face. The two friends sat in a comfortable silence for a while, each lost in their own thoughts. A light breeze rustled the leaves above them. After some time, Neo spoke up again.
"Hey, Joe, can I run something by you?"
Joe opened his eyes and turned to Neo.
"Yeah, of course. What's up?"
Neo fiddled with a blade of grass, seeming uncharacteristically nervous about something.
"So you know how I've been seeing that guy Mark for a few months now?"
Joe nodded.
"Well, things have been going really well and I think I might be falling for him. Like, actually falling for him."
He glanced at Joe, gauging his reaction. A smile spread across Joe's face.
"Neo, that's great. I'm really happy for you."
He gave Neo a playful nudge with his elbow.
"It's about time you found someone who treats you right."
Neo visibly relaxed and smiled back.
"Thanks. I'm glad you think so. I just wanted to get your opinion, I guess. See what you thought about the whole thing."
"Well, from what you've told me about Mark, he seems like a really good guy."
Joe replied thoughtfully.
and I can tell how much happier you've been lately. If he makes you feel that way, then I say go for it. See where things lead with him.
You're right.
Neo said with a sigh.
I think I'm going to tell him how I feel. It's scary putting my heart out there, but I think it could be something really great, you know?
Joe nodded understandingly.
It is scary, but totally worth the risk if you think he feels the same way. And hey, even if he doesn't feel ready yet, I'm sure he still cares about you a lot. But my gut says he likes you just as much.
He gave Neo an encouraging smile.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate you listening and talking this through with me.
Neo leaned his head back against the tree, mirroring Joe's earlier relaxed position.
I don't know what I'd do without you. You're the best friend anyone could ask for.
Joe smiled, feeling grateful for their friendship as well.
Anytime, man. That's what I'm here for. And you're pretty great yourself. I'm lucky to have you too.
He picked up his book again, ready to get back to the story.
Now, shall we continue enjoying this beautiful day?
Neo nodded, closing his eyes contentedly.
Sounds perfect.